When it gets turned into XML, it essentially looks like this. And so for those of you that might be working on the marketing side, you may or may not have seen XML, but basically the data in black here is the consumer readable copy that we'll see when we pick up the package and look at it closely. And there's a little bits of data above it in green that it is a manufacturer statement, that the ID of this data is blah, blah, blah. It's a certain number, and the piece of art, the POA, is 101. In other words, I've got the data in the form of the manufacturer statement, and then within this programming language, this XML, I have what SKUs this data belongs to. And the idea here is to promote commonality. So what I'd like to do is say, if I've got this data on 100 different SKUs, don't make me approve it 100 times. Let's get it once in the right place, and then let's express it out into the SKUs at the right time. And over time, and I'm really talking about a multi-year time frame, the document, instead of becoming the system of record, becomes the momentary expression of the truth that comes from data. So a little bit esoteric in thinking, but it's actually a very, very powerful concept. And what I believe it can do for the creative side is let them focus more on the creativity of the brand and the real consumer touch points, and spend less time worrying about all this side data. Obviously, it has to be 500% accurate. It can't be wrong. The liability around data, as simple as a manufacturer statement or perhaps even ingredients, is critical. So we're not going to relax on quality. We're actually going to use the technology to boost the notion of quality and where we get this data from. So I'm going to scoot down now. We talked a little bit about this data element. There's also the barcode data element that's contained. I can also get the barcode number and essentially dynamically construct the barcode. We think of something as simple as a net weight statement. Those of you that have dealt with the legalities around net weight statements, as an example, and kind of keeping on this theme with the intelligent package, the net weight statement by law has to be a certain percentage of size of the face panel. And so typically we have color proofs that we send out, or PDFs in today's market, or maybe a soft proof, and it has to be routed to somebody, often printed out, and then they'll physically measure the statement, physically measure the front, height and the width of the carton, if it's a carton, if it's rectangular, and then make this calculation. But if we move into the intelligent package should know that there's a die line associated with this box, and the intelligent package would already know the number of square inches that are associated with that front panel. And the intelligent package would know that this net weight statement takes up X% of that face panel, and it either does or it does not comply to the regulation. So in this way, by using what we call in the technology side programming and business rules, we can build smarts into the die line, into the data itself, so that we can spend less time worrying about the QC and the QA aspect of the project. I'm going to look down and speak a moment to a pharmaceutical example, because I've talked, kind of shown examples on the food side. But if you all are familiar and have seen IV bags, drip bags in the hospital, and if you look at this label, if you thought about it from a production standpoint, and particularly from a creative standpoint, there's not a lot there. I don't know that we're going to win any design awards for how this IV bag is laid out. But at the same time, we kind of deconstructed it. We did what we call an inch by inch on this bag. And as you can see, what looks to be just a simple paragraph of text is about 40 different data elements that all have to be 100% accurate all the time. And so in this case, this notion of deconstructing or molecularizing, if I can use that term, this bag into every data component, storing that data component out in a database, and then at the right time bringing it together in XML for expression in InDesign or Adobe Illustrator. This is really what it's all about. And there could be nothing more left brain about this, than the IV bag. So I kind of picked the extreme choice in this case. If we go back to the SKU, let me go back to one of these SKUs. You'll pardon me for flipping. But if I go back to SKU, I've got artwork components. There's a lot more creative consideration here. And what I want to look at on a SKU like this is how do I get the benefits of automation without impeding creativity? How can I templatize the components that we've talked about that are the left brain without templatizing my design and actually getting away from the reason that marketers are really here to make their product stand apart. And so the road that Shock has chosen and some other pre-media providers is to really allow both to coexist. We want the creative right brain elements to coexist in the workflow with the more rote left brain elements. And we do this by allowing Illustrator to be the tool of choice, by using the XML language and only automating the sections that I talked about before that really lend themselves. So I've talked about automation in terms of what on the package we automate, but what about which brands do we automate? How would one brand be a better candidate for an ROI or for automation than another? And as we analyze our customers' work and as we've rolled this out, we've seen that if we've got a SKU that uses the same die many, many times over and over, that is a great candidate. So if I think of razors and batteries, those would be good candidates because many, many SKUs share the same die line. If we think about the cereal market, I've got panels, the left panel, the right panel, typically are highly static and can be automated, and I've got one die line that's shared across many, many SKUs. So those are two examples. There's quite a number of examples, and this type of automation can work in flexography as well as lithography as well as rotogravure. So all the three major print processes really comes down to the content more than the print process as to what is appropriate.